Prior to doing our television show, or first on radio, my writing had been mostly confined to doing special material duet things for Harriet and me, and also some special songs that I'd written. At the time I wrote this was 1940, and they were just starting to draft guys into the Army. And so in those days, there were not very many bands with changing personnel. The personnel of your band would remain the same for maybe 5 or 6 years with just 1 or 2 changes. So that when it came time for a guy to leave the band, which happened when they were drafted, you were stuck with an arrangement that called for particular talents of a particular guy, plus he had to fit the suit and the rest of those things.
In the summer of 1944, William Morris sold what became The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet to the International Silver Company. The program would debut on CBS in the fall. Ozzie was now 38, Harriet 35. It was the last summer they toured with their band. Ozzie's younger brother Don was now a member. At the end of the summer, the band flew west, but Ozzie and Harriet went to New York to meet the sponsors and discuss program activity. Young and Rubicam handled International Silver's account. They were to be billed as America's favorite young couple. Ozzie's big mouth would get him in trouble each week. Harriet would gently try to guide him back to reason, but once Ozzie's mind was made up, nothing could dissuade him. The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet debuted on Sunday, October 8, 1944 at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. It was the couple's 9th wedding anniversary.
The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, starring young America's favorite couple, Ozzie Nelson and Harriet Hilliard. As we look in at the Nelson household at 1847 Rogers Road, Ozzie and Harriet are at lunch. Their little son David is having lunch with them.
Come on, Davy, get a move on. We've got half a glass of milk left there.
Okay, Mom.
See, I think I'll have another piece of this bread. It's awful good. Will you pass the butter, dear?
Okay, it's not butter, though. It's a substitute.
Oh, well then will you pass the margarine?
Well, it's not margarine. It's a substitute.
A substitute for margarine?
Mm-hmm. Read what it says on the jar. Here it is.
Crummy sandwich spread. Made from guess what with artificial coloring. Fine.
Finish your milk, David, and for goodness sakes, watch your manners.
Gosh, Mommy, you sound like a top sergeant today.
You're telling me, and I'm getting pretty tired of it, too. David, you're supposed to chew with your mouth closed.
I'm sorry, Mom. Daddy, do you know how to chew with your mouth closed?
David, a married man even learns to talk that way.
You want some more vegetables, David?
No, thanks.
They're good for you. Make you grow up to be a big, strong man.
I don't want to grow up, because when people grow up, they get married.
Oh, that's silly. You can grow up, but you don't have to get married.
Okay, then I'll have some more vegetables.
Now, what happened, David, that made you so sour on marriage?
Barbara Jones, the girl that sits in front of me at school.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She says when she gets married, she's going to have her own home, a bank account, 2 bicycles, and 3 pairs of roller skates.
Well, you think that's wrong?
Well, sure. I wouldn't want a wife who was out roller skating when she was supposed to be home making fudge for me.
Come on, David, finish your lunch.
Mommy, why'd you marry Daddy?
Well, I married your daddy because I loved him.
That's right, and I married Mommy because I loved her.
Gee, don't people have the funniest reasons for getting married?
Hey, you'd better hurry up. You're going to be late for school there, young fella.
David, drink your milk. Incidentally, Daddy, David's been doing very well in school lately.
Oh, well, that's a fine boy, David.
Mm-hmm. He only missed 1 word all week in spelling, and that was a pretty hard one.
Yeah, reincarnation.
Well, that shouldn't have been so hard, David. What did you do, spell it with only 1 C?
No, he spelled it with 2. That's why it was wrong.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, reincarnation. It's a very interesting subject, though. I remember I wrote a composition on it in school.
Will you tell me about it tonight, Daddy?
Oh, I'll be glad to, son. In fact, there's a very good book on the subject. As I recall it, let's see. Yeah, it's called The Trip Back by Bartlett Graham.
Isn't reincarnation the belief that people return to the earth in some other form?
Mm-hmm.
Like a cow or a dog or something?
Yeah, that's the general idea.
In fact, I think that's why cows are so highly respected in some parts of the world where they believe in reincarnation.
They must be the cows that give reincarnation milk. David, I'll bet you bragged to all the boys how clever your old man is.
How much do you want to bet, Dad?
You better leave for school pretty soon, honey.
Okay. Is that a promise then, Dad? You'll get the book and tell me about it tonight?
It's a definite promise. I'll get down and buy the book this afternoon.
Well, look, you better hurry to school. You're going to be late. You can get your dessert when you come home.
Okay. See you later. Don't forget now, Pop.
I hope you can locate that book, because when you make a promise to David, you know, he'll hold you to it.
Oh, I'll get it right after lunch. As a matter of fact, it'll be easy. It's quite a well-known book, you know.
You're all finished, aren't you, dear?
Yeah.
Well, I'll call Gloria then.
Gloria? Oh, Gloria! Did you call me, Mrs. Nelson?
Yes, I did, Gloria. We're all finished with lunch. It was very good, too.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think I want any dessert, Gloria. I have to hurry downtown and see if I can locate a book for David. It's a book on reincarnation.
Reincarnation? What's that?
Well, reincarnation is just what they call it when things keep coming back in different forms.
Oh, they do that all the time at the restaurant where I eat.
No, Gloria, this is a little different. Reincarnation means the return to Earth in a varied form. Now, you take myself, for instance. I'm a musician now, but I might come back in a few hundred years as a giraffe.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to look awful silly playing a saxophone.
I think Mr. Nelson would be more likely to come back as a tired wolf.
Oh, now, take it easy.
That sounds more like my boyfriend, Elmo.
Elmo? I thought his name was Elmer.
It was, but he changed it from Elmer to Elmo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he feels it goes better with his blue serge suit.
Well, I guess I'd better be going down to the bookstore. Would you like to go with me, darling?
No, I don't think so. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it might be fun. Is there any book you'd like us to get you, Gloria?
Yes, nothing like a good book at night if you're troubled with insomnia.
Oh, I'm never troubled with insomnia. I just lie down near the edge of the bed, and in a few moments I fall off.
I imagine Gloria doesn't have to worry about getting to sleep after all the work she does around here.
Not only that, but I've been taking exercises.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. I've been doing exercises for several weeks now. I can touch my knees without bending the floor. Well, hasta mañana, as Elmer always says.
Oh, Elmer speaks Spanish, too, huh?
Oh, yes. He used to go out with a Spanish hacienda.
Hacienda, that's a house.
That's what he likes them built like.
It was more of a difficult situation for us than if we had been playing characters. I know every once in a while we would have a dream sequence or something where we'd be able to put on a costume or a beard, and it was so much easier to act under those circumstances because the hardest acting in the world is portraying yourself. Maya, of course, it was a reasonable character, reasonable extension. We were not fully conscious of this specifically, but we felt it as sort of a part of a burden that we were carrying. And as far as the scripts were concerned, we had to be careful. Whereas the scripts had to be a reasonable exaggeration, nevertheless, they always did portray in a general form our thinking on certain things. Several people in a tour that I recently made promoting not only the book, but our new show, Ozzie's Girls, they said, are you going to change your standards from the adventures of Ozzie and Harriet? And I said, well, I couldn't very well do that because it would be dishonest.
Glenhall Taylor produced and directed. Billy May conducted the orchestra. Bea Benadaret played Gloria. Joel Davis was David Nelson. And John Brown played neighbor Thony, named after David's real-life best friend. CBS programmed the series against the Catholic Hour on NBC in New York. The show debuted with a rating of 7.6. By December of 1945, it rose to 11.8. Ozzie was a guy who never seemed to work. It became a running gag. In truth, he was still a band leader, but he set most episodes at times when the boys were out of school. The program remained in its time slot for 3 seasons, but never rose above a rating of 13. Then in the fall of 1947, with radio audiences peaking, the show pulled a rating of 15.5. Roughly 14 million people were tuning in. Meanwhile, on Thursday evenings, Roma Wines had recently cut ties with Suspense. CBS temporarily moved the series to Fridays at 9:30. On December 26, 1947, Ozzie and Harriet appeared in the final Friday night broadcast.
Suspense. Produced, edited, and directed by William Spear. Suspense, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, presents the last of a special series of Friday night performances at this hour. Tonight from Hollywood, we bring you a most unusual broadcast, starring a famous radio couple who have never before appeared in a story of this kind, Mr. Ozzie Nelson and Miss Harriet Hilliard. You are accustomed to hearing our stars in their own comedy show, but tonight, Ozzie and Harriet appear for us as a couple who are driven to the plotting of murder in Too Little to Live On by Robert Richards, a play well calculated to keep you in suspense.
I'll tell you, it doesn't matter now. How do you think anything could matter anymore to me now? You should have let me die. That was the best way. That's all that matters to me now is that I want to die. That's all I care about. Being dead. I don't know whether we ever thought about it before this morning or not. It might have crossed our minds sometime, one or the other of us, I don't know. But we never talked about it, never. Never before this morning. And then this morning, everything just seemed to come to a head. Every little thing that had happened all those months and years just seemed to pile up at once. It just seemed as though this morning was the last straw.
Hi, honey.
Hello, darling. Your breakfast is there keeping warm on the back of the stove. I'd get it for you, but I'm already late with his.
That's all right.
You better hurry, though.
I'm not going to the office today.
You're not?
He wants me to stick around. His lawyer's coming over sometime today.
His lawyer?
Yeah, don't you remember?
I guess I forgot.
His lawyer's coming over, so I have to stick around the house all day.
Couldn't you go over to the office and come back?
No, that's not the way he wants it. He says the lawyer's coming, but he doesn't know when. At least that's his story.
Well, maybe he really doesn't know.
Oh, he knows all right. Not that it matters much. I don't have any appointments today anyway. People around here wouldn't have their teeth fixed if you paid them to.
Well, they can't help it if they're poor, Dave.
I didn't say they could. I just said they can't afford to go to the dentist. I'm the dentist they can't afford to go to.
I know. Oh, darling, if we could only move to another neighborhood, then at least you could start building a decent practice.
Sure, how? With what?
I know.
With Uncle Ed's money when we get it. At least that's what we've been telling ourselves for the last 3 years.
But couldn't we talk to him? Couldn't we make him see
He likes to see us have it tough. Likes to have us dependent on that money. That's all he lives for, and he'll probably live to be 100.
We've just got to be patient, Dave. Oh, there he is. He's up. I've got to hurry.
I think at least he'd spend enough dough to have some decent tires put on that wheelchair of his so it wouldn't bump around over our heads like a 10-ton truck day and night.
Well, I suppose we ought to be thankful he doesn't spend his money. In a way.
Have you seen him this morning?
Uh-huh.
How's he feeling?
About the same, I guess. He made me bring his lemon juice and water down and heat it up again. Said it wasn't hot enough. Willie almost bit me again.
Yeah, that mutt.
Well, the dog's getting old. I suppose he can't help it. Any more than Uncle Ed.
They could both help it. He wants it that way. He gets a kick out of it. Now it's got so we even have to kowtow to a snarling little mutt. He sits there and laughs.
We've just got to be patient, Dave.
One thing, when we get that $30,000, we sure will have earned it.
Dave.
Yeah?
What about the lawyer?
What about it?
I mean, what do you suppose it means?
What should it mean? He's always getting that guy over here every 3 or 4 months and going into some kind of a huddle.
But why should he want you here?
He probably needs us both as witnesses to something.
You know, he's been talking an awful lot lately about that orphanage over in Brooklyn.
Sure, and last winter all he could talk about was some foundling home for stray dogs down in Pennsylvania. He's just cracking the whip, that's all, to see us jump.
Oh, Dave, if he was to change his will now after all we've been through...
Oh, don't worry, he won't.
Oh, there he goes. He's something for his breakfast. Coming right up, Uncle Ed. Let's see. I hope his eggs are right. Get the coffee off the back of the stove, darling, while I get a cup.
Okay. Take it easy. It's all right, honey. It's only a cup.
I know it. Sometimes it makes me so nervous I feel as though I was going crazy.
Take it easy, dear. Here, let me get the tray.
No, I'm all right now. There's a pan of milk warming on the stove. Fill this bowl about half full and break up a handful of those little dog biscuits in it.
Okay.
Sugar, salt, pepper, cream. All right, come on. Open the door for me, will you, darling?
Here, I'll carry the tray.
No, he likes to have me bring it.
What's the difference?
Oh, don't ask me, Dave. Oh, the paper for him. Oh, you've got it.
Oh, I haven't read the paper yet myself.
You can read it later. Come on. Here's your breakfast, Uncle Ed.
All right.
I'm sorry I was a little late.
Well, set it down. I heard what you said about the paper, David. If it's getting so you even begrudge a little thing like that to a helpless invalid.
No, I don't begrudge it, Uncle Ed. Here's your paper.
So important for you to read the paper, why don't you subscribe for 2 of them?
I'm afraid the budget in this family won't stand for little luxuries like that.
When I was your age, I had my first $1,000 in the bank.
Well, things were a little different in those days, Uncle Ed.
I was a little different. That's what the difference was. All right, set Willie's breakfast down for him, Myra. No, not there. Over by his bed where he can get at it.
Yes, Uncle Ed. I'm afraid Willie doesn't like me anymore.
Here, I'll give it to him.
Hey, stop that! You dare strike that dog, David!
I wasn't going to hit him. I just wanted him to let go of my sleeve.
Poor Willie. Oh. Well, if Myra would take him out once in a while, he wouldn't feel that way.
I take him out any time you ask me to, Uncle Ed.
I forget sometimes. You want to do it without my asking. Well, you can go now. I know you don't want to stay any longer than you have to. Oh, Myra, hand me my glasses over on the bureau.
Glasses? Yes, Uncle Ed. Here.
Oh, Myra, you fool!
Oh, Uncle Ed, I'm so sorry. Maybe I can mend them.
Of course you can't mend them. They're broken, you idiot.
Don't talk to her like that.
What's that?
I said don't talk to her like that.
Dave, please.
I see. Now you're trying to bully me. A helpless old man in a wheelchair. Well, I won't stand for it.
Uncle Ed, he didn't mean
I
anything.
made my bargain with you, David, and I intend to keep it, as long as you do. I've never complained about the care you've given me, although heaven knows it's been little enough. But don't think for a minute I'll stand for anything like this.
I'm sorry, Uncle Ed.
I'm afraid that's scarcely enough.
Well, it won't happen again. Look, I'll get the glasses fixed. I know a guy that can do it right away.
Probably take a week, and in the meantime, I'll be as blind as a bat. And don't expect me to pay for it.
No, don't worry. I'll pay for it. You'll have them back tonight.
Oh, this reminds me, David. Be sure that you're here when my lawyer comes today.
I'll be here. That's why I stayed home from the office.
Well, that's all for now. Oh, and I suppose neither of you's taken the trouble lately to find out which of my prescriptions need refilling.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking of that yesterday.
Oh, were you? Well, let's do it now. Bismuth's entirely gone. Look, entirely gone. You better get another bottle of iron tonic. Let's see, the drops. Yeah, that's all right for now. And the thiocyanate. You better get that refilled, too, while you're at it. Take the bottle of the bismuth, too.
I'll go right away, Uncle Ed.
Yes, you do, and you come right back. You know that I must have my bismuth not later than 20 minutes after each meal.
Yes, I know. Come on, Myra. I hate myself. Oh, take it easy, dear. It's all right. It's all right now.
Oh, Dave, I've tried, but I can't go on like this.
Oh, take it easy, honey. It won't be much longer.
Oh, we've been saying that for 3 years. We're like prisoners. We can't go out of the house together because somebody has to be with him. We can't have friends in because they disturb him. Oh, Dave, we can't even have a baby.
I could kill him. Sometimes I could kill him.
Dave, don't.
I mean it. When I see what he's doing to you, when I see him making a slave out of you, making a nervous wreck out of you so you can't even call your soul your own.
No, Dave, please. Please, I'm all right now.
Sure, we made a bargain, like he said. But not this kind of a bargain.
Oh, darling, I know it's just as bad for you as it is for me. It's just that I'm here alone with him all day. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have let myself go that way.
Oh, I hate myself, Myra. If I'd known I was going to be like this.
It's not your fault, darling. I knew what we were doing.
I'm not even a man anymore. I let him sit there and say things to my wife that a man wouldn't take from anybody on earth, but I take it. I take it and smile.
Oh, Dave, it's not your fault.
Oh, it is my fault. If I was any kind of a man, I'd do something about
Well,
it.
there's nothing to do, don't you see? I should never have acted like this. We've just got to be patient and wait, that's all.
Wait. Maybe another 3 years, maybe 10 more years.
Oh, honey.
Oh, what's the use of kidding ourselves? How do we know how long it's going to take him to die? Sometimes I don't even think he's sick. Sometimes I think he's just putting it on to make us wait on him.
But the doctor says...
He could fool the doctors. It's been done. Even when he does die, how can we ever be sure?
Dave, you don't...
I think he's just that mean, yes. Snatch the money away at the last minute and die laughing at us.
But he said it was a bargain. He said he
You
promised...
think promises mean anything to him?
Well, could he do it with...
Do what?
Change his will?
Well, sure he could do it any time he wanted to.
Without even telling us?
Nothing that says he has to tell us anything.
Oh, Dave, the lawyer.
Yeah, I know.
Today. Why does he have to come today of all days? After I broke his glasses and you hollered at him?
Yeah, I know.
Could he do it just like that today?
Sure. You do it today, you could do it any time. We'd never know until he told us.
Oh, he wouldn't. He couldn't.
Why not? He might just as well do it anyway. He'll hold it over us in the last minute like he did just now, till we probably die of heart failure before he does.
But you said just a few minutes ago...
I know. I've been kidding myself for 3 years, but not anymore.
Well, Dave, what are we going to do? What can we do?
I don't know, Myra. I don't know yet.
If only something could happen.
Like what? Nothing's going to happen, Myra. Unless we make it happen.
Dave, we couldn't.
Well, we can't go on like this either.
We could tell him to
and
go.
Throw away 3 years of our lives? The 3 years we've rotted in this dump? We've earned that money. $10,000 a year isn't half enough for what we've gone through.
Dave, I don't care about
well,
the money.
I do. Anybody but him, I'd feel different. I don't have any more feeling about him than I do that dog up there.
Dave, you don't really mean...
I don't know what I mean. Listen, I've got to go over to the drugstore and get his medicine.
All right. Hurry back.
I'll only be a minute. It's just across the street.
Dave.
Yeah?
What about the lawyer?
What about him?
What if he should come now?
Yeah, well, keep an eye out for him.
But what if he comes?
I don't know. I've got to think. Stall him off. Tell him something.
What should I tell him?
Tell him the old man...
The next week, CBS moved The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet to this suspense time slot. In February of 1948, the show's rating reached 16.6. Both International Silver and Young and Rubicam saw an opportunity. They moved the show to NBC. The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet would now air Sundays at 6:30 p.m. and serve as the lead-in for the Jack Benny program.
Yeah, that's right. Take it easy.
Say, how's the old gentleman this morning?
Oh, he's all right.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. He's a fine